Hello and welcome to the WIHS Journal, Public Affairs from 104.9 FM. I'm Paul Kretschmer. On today's broadcast, we'll be talking about a community of Jews in India who need to be sustained while the lockdown in that country continues. I'll be speaking with Isaac Thangjom, a former Indian who now lives in Israel.
Sure. My name is Isaac Thangjom. I'm originally from Manipur, India, the state of Manipur, and I came to Israel about 12 years ago, and we're working on this project called this. We have an organization called Degel Menashe, which means the flag of Menashe. We identify ourselves as one of the descendants of the 12 tribes of Menashe, one of the two sons of Joseph.
And you are attempting to assist people who are still in India who have not been able to make the return to the land of Abraham?
Correct. Right now, as we're all aware, we have a pandemic, COVID-19, which is rampant the world over. So there's been a severe shutdown and lockdown back in India, and of course even here in Israel as well. And during the intermediate days of Passover, I got a call from one of the members of the community there. And he told me about the situation there, and he told me it was really grave because he had a couple of families requesting him for some rice, so that rice is our staple over there. It's like you in the West eat bread, we eat rice there. So two families came to him and asked him if they could spare some few rice so that they tide them over during the intermediate days of Passover. So he was shocked, and he said he asked them what the problem was. He said apparently these people who are working in the in the daily wage kind of a situation, they lost their jobs, and there's no way of sustaining the family. So what happened was that I got in touch with friends from the Jewish Federation of New Mexico, and a very good friend, Dan Cohen from San Francisco, and Brian Schwartz, who agreed to raise money for the people so that we can deliver relief material, supplies, foodstuff to the people. And as we speak now, till about yesterday, we've been able to deliver about 15 tons of staples and food relief and other materials.
I understand from reports I've heard over the BBC World Service that because the central government of the country has extended the lockdown for a while longer, a majority of the people in the country are having an extreme problem in getting food because they are day laborers, and if they don't work on a given day, they don't have any money for food. Is that pretty much the situation for the people that you're assisting at the present time?
That is absolutely correct. It's there are some people who have steady jobs and, government jobs which are quite secure, but a vast majority, more than half, are daily wages. They earn their living on daily basis. And so that makes the situation for them very, very difficult because since the lockdown, and of course, I don't know if you've heard of it. I think you probably did. In India, the lockdown was scheduled to be to be eased out on the 3rd of May. But then it has they've extended to the 17th, if I'm not mistaken. And so that's going to be, the severity of the consequences is going to be borne by these people. So the situation is very, very grave.
I understand also that the lockdown initially was put into effect very quickly, which left people, even if they had the financial resources at that moment, very little or no time to actually obtain what they needed before they went into lockdown initially, which makes the problem even more, perhaps more serious than it might otherwise be, which is serious enough as it is.
Mm-hmm. That is correct, Paul. The situation in India is it's very different from how I'd say Western Europe, America, and even including Israel. The lockdown is in a way enforced, but it's the supermarkets stay open, the hospitals stay open, those kind of things where you can get your essentials, they're open. But in India, it's a very, very different situation. Since people are a little bit, how would I say it, unaware of the consequences of this coronavirus, COVID-19. So what the government has done is they've imposed a curfew, which is it is called CRPC 144, in which gathering of 4 or more people has been forbidden by the government, and they don't allow people to come out of the house. I don't know if you've seen some. You might have seen some of these scenes from India in which the police enforce this thing very strictly, so that if they see anybody roaming around the street, they are given a beating and sent back home.
That is what I've heard. Yes.
Yeah. It's you can see it on the internet as well. So in this is the situation that people are facing in India right now. So they have no choice but just to stay in the house. And these people that I'm talking about, and they are middle class people who can afford to keep a stock of their rice or this or that, and all those things. So but then there are a lot of other people who cannot. And this is where Degel Menashe, our organization has decided to step in to relieve these people from their suffering, so to speak.
Now, are the people that your organization is assisting, are they people who eventually, when it's possible, will undertake the Aliyah then?
Look, this is what we're hoping. But then, so understand, in Israel, the government has been in a kind of a suspended animation for the past 18 months.
I've been watching that with one national election after another, and the maneuvering that General Gantz and Mr. Netanyahu have been doing, mixed in with what the president of the country decides to do in terms of allowing the leaders time or not time, as the case may be, to form a coalition so that the Knesset can get back into business again. Well,
it's a very tricky situation in which, I'm sure you're aware that Gantz and Netanyahu, they're planning to form a unity government here right now.
Yes.
But then, that's again being challenged by some public interest litigation, in which they allege that there's a kind of some norms are not being followed. So it's in a kind of a suspended animation, like I said before, and there's every possibility that we might go to the fourth election. It's hanging over our head.
Yeah.
But then that remains to be seen. We don't know yet. It's everybody is in a suspense. But then of course I'm hoping that some kind of a solution comes about quickly so that some steps can be taken towards bringing our brethren back to Israel.
Yeah. Do I get the sense from you that because of the government being in what you could describe as a case of suspended animation, that entangles everything from forward progress, including humanitarian efforts?
Humanitarian right now, it's not in the scope of the government. The government is not into all these things because they're more concerned with what domestic things things in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So it falls into organizations, private hands like us to organize these things. Okay, it's true that the Indian government is also organizing, but then again, the amount of relief aid that has been sent to the people, say per individual, it works out to very, very less. And we in the Degel Menashe, we're trying to supplement that so that they have kind of a food security within this period of lockdown that's happening right now.
Based upon the best information that you have, how long do you feel that your comrades in India will need to continue to be sustained before they can exit that country and come to Israel then?
Look, that's a very, very difficult question to answer. Because
I kind of anticipated that, yeah.
Yeah, because it's anybody's guess.
This was the first part of a two-part series here on the WIHS Journal with Isaac Thangjom from India, now a resident and citizen of Israel. For further information, call us at 860-346-1049. The opinions expressed are those of the participants, not necessarily those of the staff or management of the station. I'm Paul Kretschmer on the WIHS Journal, Public Affairs from WIHS, Middletown.